What's up, everyone? Welcome back to King Anime Review, and for this video, I'll be reviewing episode 84 of Attack on Titan titled Night of the End. Now, this episode started off with Gene basically thinking to himself about how he wanted to live in the interior and how him and his family deserved to have a good life. And then it showed Hanji and Mikasa basically knocking on his where he was staying at, and this was basically a flashback to what happened, before the events of last week's episode. And the flashback, it was obviously a flashback and showing how they set up how they got Gene on their side, because initially Gene was thinking that, if we, what happens even if we do convince Eren to stop this or whatever, what are we going to do after that? Because the whole world is going to be against us. And Hanji was like, we can't justify genocide. So they essentially talked Gene into Mikasa and Hanji talked Gene into joining their side. Obviously they're allied with the Marlians now, and they along with the Marlians are teaming up to try to take out Eren. And their plan was, put in motion in last week's episode, but this was just a flashback to showing us how Gene basically got on their side. So it started off with that flashback, and then obviously and then we cut to the present time, and it was showing basically the people who were allied against, I guess you can call them the allied forces who were against Eren, which comprises basically the people on their team is, Annie, and so basically Annie, the general from Marley, the Quartz Titan, which is, Peak, and Reiner, as well as Falco and Gabby. And they're all teamed up with the remaining members of the Scouts who are Eren's friends, pretty much. So basically Eren's closest friends, like Hanji, Mikasa, Armin, Coney, and Gene. And they were all talking in the forest throughout the majority of this episode. After we got that flashback with Gene, they were talking in the forest about, their next moves and stuff and what they were going to do. And they basically was planning out what their strategy was. And Annie asked them, are they going to be able to kill Eren? And then Mikasa said, she immediately said, there's other ways to stop him or whatever. And Annie said, what if you can't talk him out of it? Then what? And she basically didn't think that they would be able to kill Eren. And and then her and Annie and Mikasa seemed like they were about to fight, but Annie basically told Mikasa she understands how she feels or whatever, and she basically said, basically you should talk to him, and then we'll see what happens after that. But they basically, I guess they decided not to fight. But Annie basically told her you should try to talk Eren out of it, and that they shouldn't fight. And then Mikasa, basically pretty much agreed to that. And then they started to talk about the port and how Eren was at the port and stuff like that. And they need to know where he's going. And that's the whole reason why they kidnapped Yelena. And basically, they were trying to get Yelena to reveal information to him. And Yelena was like, she doesn't know where Eren's going. And even if she did, why would she help them? And that's when Peak basically revealed that she did some research, or she figured out some stuff about Yelena's past. And apparently Yelena made up that story about her being from a nation that was taken over by Marley or whatever. She made up that whole story. And she's actually really from Marley. And she just lied to Zeke and all that. And because she wanted to save the world, she wanted to be admired. So essentially she did. So essentially, she made up those stories and all that, and she got on Zeke's side all because she wanted to be admired. That's what Peak said, and since Yelena didn't, deny it, that must be the case. So she's pretty much just like Reiner. She wants other people to look up to her, and she wants people to admire her. That's pretty much her whole goal, and she don't even care who gets killed in the process or who gets hurt in the process of achieving that goal, which is exactly like Reiner. Reiner is a very selfish character. And even I know Eren compared himself to Reiner, in a previous episode, in one sense, like in one aspect, in the sense that, Reiner was willing to kill people for the sake of his goal, and Eren is willing to kill people for the sake of his goal. And that aspect, they are similar. However, they're not entirely similar. They're not entirely similar because Eren, he has more of a justification for what he's doing than Reiner. You could say that, I could get into that later on, probably in a future video. But yeah, Reiner is nowhere near, he's nowhere near a hero. And he's a completely selfish character who simply wants to be admired by other people. And he didn't care about killing other people in the process. Whereas Eren was actually attacked first. That's the whole, and that's another thing that was mentioned in this episode. It was brought up how Eren, because basically the general, and by the way, I'm gonna quickly say, Gene was the MVP of this episode. He was easily the best character in this episode, the best lines, the best reactions. Gene, I wasn't really a big Gene fan to begin with, but this episode, yeah, he's up there. He's climbing up the ranks for best Attack on Titan characters. So yeah, anyway, Gene was the MVP of this episode, and the LVP, or shall I say, the least valuable player, or basically the worst character of this episode was the general. I forgot his name, and I don't really care about his name. But the general from Marley, because he had a bunch of dumb arguments that just simply didn't make any sense. But anyways, so getting back to what I was saying about Eren, Gene was basically, because the general was basically calling them devils and stuff like that. Why are you devils helping us? Because you guys, why are you devils helping us when we would have stopped Eren from getting the Founding Titan. We would have stopped him from connecting with Zeke if you guys hadn't stopped us. And they basically explained that they didn't want genocide. Essentially, they didn't know Eren's full plans at the time. They didn't know Eren's full plans. Armin assumed that Eren might be trying to do the rumbling, but only to take out the military base and stuff, and not to literally wipe out the whole world. I don't get why Armin had that assumption. I mean, Armin was basing, because that's the suggestion that Armin gave to Eren a while ago. However, Armin should have known that Eren was going to go way beyond that, because Eren literally said at the end of season 3 that, hey, what if we kill everybody on the other side of this water? Will we be free then? So Armin should have known that Eren wasn't just going to wipe out the military bases. But anyways, so when the general was asking, why did you guys, why are you helping now when you basically prevented us from stopping Eren before you even started the rumbling? And they gave the explanation, they don't support genocide, right? And then he started to call them devils and stuff like that. And Gene was like, hey, the only reason Eren is doing this rumbling thing is because of what you did. You've been sending these people, you've been sending Titans over to our lands. You attacked first. You started it pretty much. You basically knocked down the walls, and you caused Eren to witness his own mom getting eaten right in front of him. So Gene he made the most sense throughout this episode. He was the character that was making the most sense. He had the best points throughout this entire episode. And then the general, yeah, he's a very trash character, to be honest with you. But anyways, yeah, he's more brainwashed than what Gabby was. Gabby was brainwashed, but at least Gabby is starting to come out of her brainwashing, and she started to realize that she was wrong. So you could say you could even argue that she has some decent character development. But this general guy, this guy is still brainwashed, and he's a full-fledged adult, and he's acting worse than how Gabby was acting, and Gabby was just a little brainwashed kid, which is ridiculous. So yeah, this general, completely trash. Now, anyways, he was like, well, these 2,000, basically the suffering of the people on the island is laughable, or it's a joke compared to the 2,000 years of history. But as Hanji pointed out, it's pretty dumb to talk about stuff that happened when you weren't even there. So essentially, this guy's talking about stuff that happened like thousands of years ago, but it didn't happen to him. So he's talking about stuff that he didn't even witness happen. And then he's trying to compare that to the suffering that Eren and everybody else on Paradise suffered. And the fact of the matter is, like I said, Eren, they started it. The Marlians started it. So Reiner didn't have any justification. He just wanted to be viewed as a hero, and he didn't care about who got sacrificed in the pursuit of his goal. He didn't care about who he sacrificed or who got sacrificed in the pursuit of his goal. Whereas Eren, and by the way, Reiner wasn't, he wasn't attacked first. He willingly attacked them, and no one was it's not like his life was on the line or anything like that. He wasn't being threatened. He didn't experience the same thing with Eren. He wasn't the victim. He was never a victim. That's the difference between him and Eren. That's the big difference. Is Eren was a victim. He did have at least a little bit more justification than Reiner. Now, as far as him committing genocide, obviously that's wrong and stuff like that. However, I'm talking about specifically Reiner wasn't attacked. He didn't witness his mom get eaten and all that type of stuff. He didn't witness really any tragic events. He just wanted to be a hero. And you could say that he had some problems with his father, but no, he didn't see anybody get eaten or anything like that. He simply just wanted to, just like Yelena, he just wanted to be admired by people. And he didn't, like, he started he was one of the main people who started the whole conflict. Whereas Eren, he was the victim initially when his whole, when Shinganji got attacked and the wall tightened. And his mom got eaten. Eren was a victim initially. Like I said, I could do a whole video about Eren and Reiner, but just to let you guys know, this should be common sense. This should be, everybody should already know this, but Reiner is he's a trash character and he's nowhere near as great as, I'm not gonna say Eren is like morally good. I'm not gonna say that, but I will say Reiner is a way worse character than Eren. But he's supposed to be like a villain, so you could give him a pass for that because he's supposed to be a villain. But yeah, that's the case with that. Then Yelena was so basically he's evil and villains are supposed to be evil. So you could say he's kind of fulfilling his role in the story. However, he's, in terms of morality, he's way worse than Eren. Let's just put it like that. But yeah, Yelena was, after Peak revealed, her backstory and stuff, she didn't deny anything that Peak said. But what she did say was she started to talk to everybody else about their past mistakes. And I think it's really weird that she didn't talk to the general and the Marlians, because they are the main villains of the series. I don't care what anybody say. The Marlians are the main villains of the series. They were completely in the wrong. Completely. They were completely in the wrong. The Marley was completely in the wrong. All of them. Now, the other nations, they weren't necessarily the problem. Like Unyakapon's home nation, you could say he was victimized just like the Eldians and stuff like that. But yeah, the other nations aren't, I wouldn't say the other nations are bad, but Marley is definitely the enemy. I would say Marley is definitely they're definitely the worst characters in terms of morality. They're the real villains of the series, I would say. And if you want to say Eren's a villain, you could possibly say that, but yeah, I'm not gonna. Marley is not good by any means. They're like some of the worst characters in the series in terms of like they're the most evil characters in the series, I would say, and it mainly stemmed from their brainwashing and stuff like that. Now, so she didn't mention, she didn't say anything to the general, which I thought was weird because he's the worst one out of everybody who was sitting there in that circle. He's literally the worst one, especially since he's still acting like a little brainwashed kid who thinks that these characters are devils, and he's completely unsympathetic towards them, which is ridiculous. But anyway, so yeah, but she talked about what Annie did and how Reiner killed a lot of the people in Paradise and stuff like that. And then Marco got brought up. She brought up Marco and how Jean was telling her how Reiner or how Annie killed Marco or whatever. Annie had something to do with his death. And then Reiner said, "I'm the one who did it though. I'm the one who ordered her to do it," or whatever. And then Reiner kept on saying, he was obviously feeling guilty, but he brought up the fact that he was like, even though he caused his death, he caused Marco's death. Even though that happened after Marco died, he killed the Titan that ate Marco out of a rage. He was mad at the Titan pretty much, and he killed the Titan. And yeah, because it's kind of like Reiner, he's just pretty much bipolar. That's another problem with him. He's bipolar, and basically Gene saw that as he kind of took it as Reiner was trying to get some sympathy for what he did, and that's why Gene started beating up Reiner. And you can't really blame Gene for that. I mean, he didn't kill Reiner. I'll say you should forgive in general. Forgiveness, you should always forgive people. But yeah, I understand why Gene was so mad about that. Because it seemed like Reiner was trying to get sympathy, but Reiner is genuinely it seemed like he is really a bipolar character. So after all that talking, Gene, he beat up Reiner, and Coney and Armin started holding him back, and then Gene he actually tried to kick Reiner, and then Gabby got in the way of the kick, and then so Gabby got in the way of the kick, and then she started pleading with Reiner. She says she understands that it seems shameless for her to ask, but she really needs their help, and in hopes that the world would. Well, she basically talked about how she used to her and the other Marlians. Specifically the Eldian Marlians, the Marlians who were in Eldia. I mean the Eldians who were in Marley, which includes her. She wanted to kill all the Island Devils because she wanted the world to forgive her, her and her people, pretty much. But she talked a little bit about that, and then she just asked Gene to help her, and then Gene basically eventually did help. He went away for a little while, but he ended up helping. He never really changed his mind. He just removed himself from the situation. And he eventually apologized to Gabby later, but he said he's not going to apologize to Reiner. And then, the episode ended off with Peak revealing that some of the Jaegers, basically, the Jaegers were at the port. And they have anti-Titan weapons. And the preview is actually titled, the next episode is titled Traitor. And it seems like, based on the preview, they're going to, this united team that's against Eren is going to fight the Jaegers. And, and the Jaegers are going to view them as traitors. And overall, this was another great episode of Attack on Titan. Pretty much just setting things up and, setting up the ally, I'm gonna call them the allied forces, the allied forces who are against Eren, who's trying to stop Eren from, who's trying to stop the rumbling. They are. The episode is mainly about them trying to get along, pretty much, and putting their plans into motion about what they're gonna do about Eren. And when it comes to that, it was very great. The conversations, the dialogue, the character, the display of character development, just everything. The writing in this episode was fantastic. Fantastic. So, this was another fantastic episode of Attack on Titan. In terms of story, 10 out of 10. In terms of art, 10 out of 10. And in terms of animation, 10 out of 10. This was a 10 out of 10. Fantastic episode of Attack on Titan. If you guys like this video, please drop a like. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and clicking that channel notification bell to be notified on all of my future videos. Drop a comment and let me know what you guys thought of the video and of the episode in the comment section below. And share the video all over the internet. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out. Every promise I've been praying.